down and I'll ask the ghosts. But this is the car park over there. And this over there, down there, is where all the bodies, or most of the bodies, are actually buried. Condensed. Thousands of bodies are condensed. Remember the stadium that I showed you? Thousands are condensed underneath this car park. Now, interestingly enough, legend has it that if, say, you're shopping here in the markets and you're struggling to carry your fruit and vegetables to the car, you're probably not alone. And you'll probably eventually hear the moanings of society's undesirables, the moanings of those who basically were interrupted, their peaceful resting place in which they were put to rest was disrupted, and they are just basically expressing their discontent to us. Now, this here is a very, very supposedly haunted spot, and we'll talk a little bit more about more stuff, but I think let's just pull this out. While we're here, we may as well just put this to good use, right? Check this out. Let's see if there's any sign. We'll go for a little walk. Okay. And here, as you can tell, now, Queen Victoria Market isn't only known for being a graveyard, right? Again, remember, 9,000 bodies underneath us right now. And you can see that no matter where I'm going, this is a very open spot. So you can't tell me that there are, electronics around me or anything. See, I'm far away from my camera. And this is going off. And there's no cables above me, nothing. So there's something's going on right now. But this place is also known for being a place in which people have been murdered over time. I want to talk about that shortly, because there have been a few killings, a few shootings that have happened inside this market. But I don't want to overload you with information, because we can always create a sequel to this tour. Okay, let's do a little spirit box, and I want to tell you another couple of stories. So let's pull out the spirit box. Let's see what happens when we walk down here. Let me just grab it. I hope you guys are having fun. I like to keep my tours as different as possible, as unusual as possible. That's true, Nicola. That's very true. So they used to have... All right, we'll give it a stop for a second. Step into the market. The first people to actually, there are two people who have actually been buried in here, and I mentioned them last time, and I'll touch on them very briefly while we're here now. But the first two men to have actually been executed in Melbourne were two Aboriginal boys by the name of Tuner White and Mulboy Heener. Right? They were from Tasmania. They arrived here as part of... what the hell was that? Oh my God. These guys just went... Did you hear that? That made me jump. Bloody hell. They're probably just heading back from the game. From the... there's the World Cricket Championships being held in Melbourne. India played Pakistan today, so that's probably what it is. I think I heard something mixed in with a static, but I'm not sure. All right, Heather, that's good to know. But anyway, they were both of them were from Tasmania, and they were actually brought to Melbourne by the controversial preacher George Robinson. He had this vision of bringing... taking Aboriginal boys and civilizing them. He thought he was this incredible altruistic individual who would teach them Judeo-Christian values and make them more civilized people. So they did get along with him. They respected George Robinson, and they worked as translators for him. What the hell was that? What's that? Can you hear that? What the hell? Let's go get the hell out of here. This guy's losing his mind. It's dangerous. What the hell was that? Did you? What the hell? Just gotta get out of here. I'm just hiding. Oh, how scary. He sounds very violent. Sorry guys, just 1 second. Just gotta do what's gotta be safe. I can see him. You can't, but I can see him. He's clenching his fists. I think he must be on drugs or something. Very angry. Okay, I think he's gone. We can go back. It's a last scene. Jesus Christ. He could be possessed by the spirits. Doesn't happen very often, Kate. I'm just going to walk away. Anyway, so yes, they worked for the British man, the preacher, as translators. And, they respected him, they respected his intelligence, and he respected them back for their knowledge of the land. And the two Aboriginal boys ended up learning how to speak. Oh, it's coming closer to us. Learned how to speak fluent English, right? Within a couple of years only. So anyway, what happened was they eventually, while they were in Melbourne, they decided they wanted to escape. So they eventually escaped, found their way out in Mornington, and they had an altercation with a bunch of whalers, which led to them killing the whalers. And then once news came about that they killed the whalers, they tried to escape the authorities. They didn't want to get into, they didn't want to get punished for it. So they escaped. They apparently were traveling 50 kilometers a day to escape, but then they ended up getting caught and trialed. And because they're Aboriginal, they weren't given a fair trial, even though, interestingly enough, Sir Barry Redmond, who was the guy who eventually, 30 years later, executed Ned Kelly, who's a bushranger, and I'll tell you a little bit more about bushrangers soon. He defended them and said that they should be given a fair trial and that they should be, also things should be seen from their perspectives. But that's it. They weren't given a fair trial, and they were the first two people to be executed in Melbourne at the old Melbourne jail. Their execution became news all over, and 5,000 people attended their execution. So yeah, Caroline is saying, I'm scared someone is going to jump out. Yeah, Caroline, don't worry. If he does jump out, I will... I will kick him. I've only got one arm. But, yeah. Anyway, he could be possessed by a demon. So we'll just have to keep a keen eye out for this guy, okay? So if you see any guy out there with his fists clenched and an angry red face, just alert me. Anyway, let's attempt to communicate with the ghosts. So I'm gonna open the. Oh, so sorry. I was talking about the two gentlemen, right? Tuna and Moldboy, and they. I can feel it's actually a he, Nicola. Yeah, it's actually a guy.